Hey, a bit Steve from that old Yorkshire geek. A bit of certification news from here in the UK. This is from Scottish TV, from their website. Before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. I'm also on Rumble, Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts and Google Podcasts. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Links are in the description for that, as well as links to my 2 books and my Patreon, and all that stuff's in the description, my website, blah, blah, blah. Right, let's get on with it, shall we? As I said, this is from Scottish TV, and the headline is Watership Down given PG rating for mild violence and bad language, alongside Star Trek The Motion Picture, which is what caught my eye. It has had the age rating raised from universal to parental guidance after being reviewed. Right, so let's have a look at this. By the way, the movie certification and video and stuff, the certification ratings in the UK are obviously different to what they are in America. I think in America you've got G, PG, PG-13, R, NC-17. And then I don't know what's after that. Have you got X? I don't know. But that's what they've got in America. But for some reason, even R-rated films, which I think are equivalent to what we have here, 15, kids can still go see them, at whatever age, as long as they're accompanied by an adult. But over here we've got U, which is universal, PG, it's parental guidance, 12. Which, kids under 12 shouldn't really see it. But I think they're allowed to if they're accompanied by an adult. 15, 18, and that's it. So there we go. So originally, Watership Down, Star Trek The Motion Picture, were rated U when they were originally released. So let's have a read at the article. Right. By the way, that still there, that is not a still from the film. It says there, Watership Down was released in 1978. By the way, it's an amazing film if you've not seen it. It's absolutely terrifying. It's an animated film about rabbits, based on the book by Richard Adams. But that's not from that, is it? It's obviously somebody's drawn the rabbits in the style, or to make them look a bit like the ones in Watership Down, but they're not. You can tell it's totally different. Anyway, Star Trek The Motion Picture and Watership Down are among the classic films which have had their age ratings raised from U to PG, according to the British Board of Film Classification's BBFC annual report. The sci-fi hit, first released in 1979, and the 1978 animated adventure film were both originally rated Universal U, which means they should be suitable for all. After being resubmitted to the organisation which decides on the certification of movies and episodic content, their ratings were raised to parental guidance, PG. Why will they be resubmitted? Are some new versions coming out, maybe? I don't know. 4Ks or whatever. And there's William Shatner. Star Trek The Motion Picture, directed by Robert Wise and starring William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy, requires a PG for having brief, mild horror and sex references. I'm guessing this is because they've done... well, it's out already, actually. Hang on, just let me check. Just bear with me. Right, I'm back. So, as you can see from that, this is Star Trek The Motion Picture, the 4K release, and it's PG. Can you see it? There we go. Where are we? There we go. PG certificate. That's what that says there. So it's not exactly new news. I've had this for ages. Well, a few months. Look at the dust on it. Bloody hell. Right. So where were we? So I'm guessing that's why it's been re-certificated for the 4K release of the director's cut. But brief, mild horror. I'm trying to think what that could be in the film. I don't know. I can't think of any brief, mild horror in Star Trek The Motion Picture, and sex references. Kind of. They talk about... It's kind of glossed over in the director's cut, where they talk about Ilea's oath of celibacy and her pheromones that drive men wild. That were kind of toned down for the director's cut from the theatrical one. But brief mild horror, I can't think what brief mild horror might be in there. Maybe apart from Vija arriving on the bridge, which were kind of scary when it got Ilea. Is that what they're talking about? Anyway, it was the first instalment of the film series spin-off based on the original TV show, which followed the adventures of the starship USS Enterprise and its crew. Oh, hang on, I know what the mild horror is. Probably the transporter accident, to be honest, at the beginning of the film. With Commander Sonak and the other person, whose name I can't remember. But we're told who they are in the book. It were actually Admiral Kirk's girlfriend. Didn't seem enormously cut up about it, did he? But anyway. Right, a PG rating is needed for Watership Down due to mild violence, threats, brief bloody images and bad language. Yeah, there's a piss off is in it. Once the seagull car says it. Stupid bunny rabbit. Great film. I've seen it twice at the cinema. Back in the day when it first came out. The BBFC report later added, whenever a distributor resubmits a film with an existing BBFC rating to us, we review it under our current guidelines. This sometimes means we may reclassify the film at either a higher rating or a lower rating than it was under previous guidelines. For instance, this probably happens quite a lot with older films from the 40s, 50s, like horror films which may have had an X certificate back in the day. Such as, I think, maybe the old Quatermass films, some of the old Hammer films may have got X certificates back in the day, but now they're probably going to get a 12 or a 15 certificate, or sometimes even a PG. But anyway. In relation to Watership Down, the animated tale which depicted a colony of rabbits who seek out a safe place to set up a new warren after human developers threaten their community. The report referenced a distressing sequence. It's all the way through. Adding, in their exile, the rabbits meet various challenges, some of which result in bloody bite and claw injuries caused by animals fighting, particularly when they come across the Ephraphans. I can't remember how you pronounce it. You'll be identified by your mark. Scratch. It's a great film, it is. When we viewed the film under the current guidelines, we reclassified it PG in line with our current policies for violence, threat, injury detail and language. Watership Down is astonishingly violent for a cartoon. And about bunny rabbits. Again, another image there. That is not from Watership Down. From the animated. Unless there's a different version. Whether a TV version of it, a series maybe, I don't know. But that's not from the movie. I don't even know who they are. The best-selling novel by Richard Adams was famously adapted into the film in 1978 and returned to the small screen with a BBC adaptation in 2018, which isn't very good in my opinion. My son loves it, but I don't think it's very good. Featuring a star-studded voice cast including James McAvoy, John Boyega, Nicholas Hoult, Rosamund Pike, Olivia Colman and Gemma Arterton. I wasn't keen on it, and they didn't look like rabbits, they looked like hares. Never mind. PG is described as acceptable for general viewing, but some scenes may be unsuitable for young children, to bring them in line with the current classification guidelines. After a film is resubmitted for classification, compliance officers for the BBFC will consider it against the current guidelines to ensure BBFC classification decisions remain in step with societal standards, the organisation has said. Societal standards, that's a key word, isn't it? That's why we're getting warnings at the beginning of films now. Saying that scenes depicted in this film may not be in line with current views. Anyway, usually about race and stuff like that. Its guidelines are created through wide-scale consultations with thousands of people from across the UK, extensive research and using the organisation's experience. It is sit in a room and you go through a checklist as you're watching it. Every 4 to 5 years it updates the BBFC guidelines to continue to meet the expectations and values of people across the UK. The next consultation is scheduled for this year, with any changes required by the research coming into force in early 2024. In 2022, the BBFC classified 1,057 cinema films, 5,527 video submissions, and 3,649 online submissions, the report states. It found the age rating of 15 was the most common category for both online and physical media submissions, with 42% of all classified content in 2022 falling into that area. As of this month, the British classification body has licensed 33 brands and services to carry its age ratings and data, including streaming giants Netflix, Amazon Prime Video and Apple TV. David Austin, Chief Executive of the BBFC, said, "Last year was a landmark year for the BBFC. We reached 110 years of classification and our iconic age ratings celebrated significant anniversaries." By the way, they haven't always been that. When I was a kid, we used to have U, A, double A, and X, and that was it. Anyway. We also continue to cement our partnerships with video-on-demand services and our recently announced AI projects, which explore how new technology might be integrated into the compliance process. Compliance, like the Borg. Aim to deliver scale and enhanced efficiencies for our customers and the wider industry. I'm really excited about the opportunities this next chapter will bring. Natasha Kaplinsky, that name rings a bell, president of the board. She used to be a newsreader, didn't she, Natasha Kaplinsky? Now she's the president of the board of the BBFC. Yeah, she's quite attractive as well, Natasha Kaplinsky, if I remember. She wore glasses and stuff, but she was really attractive. She always turned heads at the BBC, apparently. Anyway, I've always used the BBFC for guidance for myself and my family, so I was delighted to join the organisation as president in 2022. If that's what I'm thinking of. I'll put an image over there. It's an exciting time to be part of the BBFC, as we're currently consulting with over 10,000 people across the UK to explore how audiences' expectations are evolving. We will then reflect these changes in our classification guidelines, which set the foundation for all of our age rating decisions, including when older films are resubmitted and receive a new classification. I look forward to unveiling our findings in 2024. So there we go. So all that waffle. And basically I just wanted to tell you about Star Trek getting a new classification from U to PG, which I knew already. I never really noticed, to be honest. And Watership Down, which I'm not surprised. I mean, in my opinion, Watership Down should have like a 15 certificate, to be completely honest, in my opinion. Or 12 at the least. Because it is astonishingly violent, even for a cartoon. But it is a classic and it's well worth watching. Never mind the new one. Never mind the CG version that came out a few years ago. What's the 1978 original? It's amazing. Right, we will leave it there and get rid of that. So, thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other, and until next time, I'll say this.